Okay, students, now we are in question number 49. Okay, so in this question number 49, you can see that company had issued 40,000 number of shares. Okay, but they received application on 60,000 number of shares. Okay, so application on 12,000 number of shares are rejected. Okay, and 48,000 shares are actually allotted as per pro rata basis. Okay, so the first entry will be bank account debit to share application when 60,000 number of shares are actually applied by the public. Okay, so in the second entry we can see here that 12,000 number of shares were actually rejected. Okay, 40,000 number of shares are actually allotted, and extra number of shares, that is 8,000. Okay, so we can see here 48 minus 40, 8,000 number of shares are actually in excess. So this 8,000 excess amount, sorry, number of shares, okay, are actually adjusted against your share allotment money. Okay, so 8,000 into 2 it will be, okay, the excess application received on 8,000 number of shares. Okay, so 2. Okay, this way you can have 16 here. Okay, now on time of allotment there is premium also. Okay, so premium is of rupees 2 per share. Okay, and actual allotment, that is the nominal value of allotment, will be 3. Okay, so share allotment account debit to equity share capital account to SPR. Okay, so company had issued number of these 40,000 number of shares. Okay, so allotment money will be due on these 40,000 number of shares only. Okay, so now we receive the allotment money, but except for 1,600 number of shares. Now see here, this 1,600 number of shares are actually being in calls in area. Okay, so what we can do is that we can have a look at the calculator. Okay, now have a look. So 16,000 number of sorry, this 16,000 extra money is adjusted with this 2 lakh. Okay, so 2 lakh minus 16,000 will be how much? It will be 1 lakh 84,000. How many number of shares are actually allotted? 40,000. Okay, so per share it should be 4.6. Okay, 4.6. So this is the actual adjusted allotment money to be received on time of allotment after adjusting this 60,000. Okay, so 4.6. Okay, 1,600 number of shares are actually allotted. Okay, so 16,000 sorry 4.6 into 1,600 will be how much? 7360. Okay, so this way you can make the adjustment. Okay, so you can have the working note that I have mentioned before also. This way also you can do. Okay, uh, amount received on amount receivable on allotment on 40,000 number of shares including premium of rupees 2 per share is this 2 lakh. Okay, so excess application money received on 8,000 number of shares is actually adjusted here. Okay, 16,000. So the application, sorry, allotment money received, sorry, receivable is 1,84,000. You can see this amount 1,84,000. Okay, 1,84,000. Okay, so allotment money was due from Ram. Okay, Ram, who was allotted 1,600 number of shares. Okay, 8,000, but he had actually applied for 1,920 number of shares. Okay, so using this formula we will come to know that 1920 is actually applied. So why to do, okay, why to find this extra number of shares here? Because this is actually on pro rata basis. So on pro rata basis, if there is any kind of call scenario on time of allotment, and if the money is also adjusted, then you have to find the number of shares applied and allotted. Okay, if allotted number of shares are given, then you have to find applied number of shares. If applied number of shares are given, then you will find allotted number of shares. Okay, so he had actually applied for 1,920 number of shares, so out of which 1,600 number of shares were actually allotted. Okay, so 320 shares are in surplus. So excess application money received from Ram on 320 number of shares is 640 rupees. Okay, so 8,000 minus 640 will be 7360. This 7360 is the call scenario. Okay, so 184 minus 7360 will be 176640. So this is the allotment money that has been received. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, so now after which we will go for share first call. Okay, so now here we can see that company is asking for share first call money at the rate rupees 2 per share. Okay, but we can see here that extra, okay, number of shares, that is 2000 number of shares, again Shyam. Okay, first of all let us talk about Ram, who had applied for 1920 number of shares, he was allotted 1600 number of shares. He failed to pay allotment, first call and final call. Okay, that was for Ram. Okay, Ram failed to pay allotment, first call and final call. Now Shyam is failing to pay first call and final call. So Ram's number of shares actually 1600 and Shyam's number of shares is 2000. So 1600 plus 2000 will be 3600. Okay, so that's why we are having the calls in area on 3600 number of shares involving both Ram's and Shyam's number of shares. Okay, so this is very simple, 3600 into 2. Okay, you don't have to do any kind of working note for that. Okay, so now you may be asking, okay, now you may be wondering why we are not finding the number of shares that was actually applied by Shyam. We don't have to worry about the number of shares that was applied by Shyam. Why? Because excess application money received is adjusted towards allotment. Okay, so excess application money is not adjusted towards first call. So that's why you don't have to worry about the excess number of shares that was applied by Shyam. Okay, so here the entry will be bank account debit, calls in area account debit to share first call, and calls in area will be on 3600 number of shares involving both Ram and Shyam. Okay, so that is 7200. Okay, now let us move on to share final call. Now share final call account debit to equity share capital account, 40,000 into 3, 1,20,000. Again, this 3,600, okay, Ram and Shyam, it will be 10,800 for calls in area. Okay, now we will forfeit the number of shares. Okay, so we know that this forfeited number of shares involve both Ram and Shyam. Okay, so for Ram it was 1,600 and for Shyam it was 2,000. Okay, and when allotment money was due, Ram, who was allotted 1,600 number of shares, he did not pay the allotment money. So with allotment money, he didn't even pay SPR also. Okay, so that's why we are having SPR towards debit side, and it is only for Ram's number of shares. Okay, Ram's number of shares is 1,600. Okay, and premium amount is rupees 2, and in total we are forfeiting 3,000 number of 3,600 number of shares, and the full face value of each share is rupees 10. That's why 3,600 into 10, it is 36,000, and this SPR is only for Ram's number of share, that is 1,600. Okay, and the amount will be 3,200. Okay, so two calls in area. So just find the total of the calls in area that has been already uh, recorded out here, 10,800 plus 7,200 plus 7,360. Okay, so this way you will find calls in area 25360. Okay, so its total will be, I mean, total of this debit column will be 39200. Okay, minus 25360, it will be 13840. Okay, now 3,600 number of shares were forfeited, and now again these 3,600 number of shares are only being reissued at rupees 8 per share. Okay, so it will be 28,800. Okay, and here in equity share capital account we will write rupees 10 only, because as fully paid. Okay, so 36,000 minus 28800 will be 7,200. Okay, now 13,840 minus 7,200, it will be 6,640. This is your profit on reissue of forfeited shares.